How's it going, Guardians? Shifty here, and today I'm back with another Legend Lost Sector guide. This time I'm going to be covering the Bay of Drowned Wishes during the Dawning event. The reason I'm covering some Legend Lost sectors again is because they make excellent ways to farm Essence of Dawning. Again, I don't want to waste too much time on the intro for this one, so before I get into my loadout, if you end up enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright, I want to start things off by going over my subclass and exotic choices. So on my Warlock, I went with Middle Tree Stormcaller with Geomag Stabilizers. Next up for my Titan, I went with Middle Tree Striker and Cuirass of the Falling Star. And for my Hunter run, I went with Bottom Tree Archstrider with Raid and Flux. Now let's move on to my weapon selection. In my kinetic slot, I am using the Biting Winds bow, but any kinetic bow should work here. The bow is going to be for Overload champions. Then in my energy slot, I'm using Telesto on my Warlock run, but I do use Lawrence Driver for my Titan and Hunter run. I'm going to be using both of these weapons for unstoppable champions and to clear out groups of enemies at a time. Then for my heavy weapon, I use Tarantula on my Hunter and Warlock run. This will get a 50% damage boost due to Arc Burn in this Legend Lost sector. However, just to demonstrate that you don't need this particular linear fusion rifle, I go ahead and use Threaded Needle on my Titan run. And lastly, for my armor mods, they're going to be the same across all three classes, so I'm just going to show them to you once on my Warlock. I'll quickly show you each piece of armor, and if you need to see anything in more detail, just pause the video. And that's all there is to my loadout in this one. There will be timestamps if you want to skip to a particular run, and I will be including live commentary. With that said, let's get into it. Alright, so in this Legend Lost sector, I think it's helpful to have weapons that are good for groups of enemies. One such weapon is Telesto. You may also be able to use something like Lawrence Driver. That would be an excellent option here as well. So, as you can see, there's going to be a group of Screebs. And we're going to wait for the next unstoppable champion to spawn. There it is in the distance. Almost had it taken out before the Screebs even spawned. And just like that, the group of Screebs is down. And we can push forward. And here we're going to have a Raider Sniper spawn up top. Telesto should work pretty fine at this distance. You can watch out for the slowing mines as well. We are going to have an unstoppable champion right here. Going to want to use your bow to stun it. You're of course going to want to be careful for the Screeb spawn right here by the barrier. And then you're going to have 3 additional spawns out in the open. But again, Telesto worked excellent for taking those groups out for the most part. And it looks like there was one more Screeb spawn here by the barrier. And all the enemies should be down, so we can move on to the boss room. In the boss room, we're going to have 3 waves of enemies right off the bat. You're also going to have an Overload champion right away. So go ahead and take out the enemies that jump up top here first if you need to. And if I was reloaded, I could have taken that champion out as well. And now we'll go for the champion. As soon as this champion goes down, we should have another wave of enemies. Again, you're going to want to take out as many as you can. The boss won't spawn until you do anyway, so. And as you can see right there in the back, the boss, I'm going to go ahead and super as many of the enemies over there that I can, and I'm going to make my way right to the chest. And there we are. That was a platinum completion of the Bay of Drowned Wishes Legend Lost sector on a Warlock. Now I'm going to show you a full run on a Titan and a Hunter as well. Alright, so here for my Titan run, I decided to switch it up and go with Lawrence Driver and a Void Linear Fusion Rifle, because I know some people will not have Tarantula. So the first groups of enemies are taken out there. I'm going to wait for some Screeb spawns. There's one lone one right there. That group is done. Now we can take care of this unstoppable. And then this group of Screebs as well. Make sure everything's reloaded and be ready for this raider. I'm going to toss a grenade right over on this group of enemies here and be ready for the overload. Overload is down and we have some screebs spawning by the barrier up here. Those screebs are down. I'm going to push forward a little bit and look for the ones on the outer edges. You also want to be careful for any that spawn right next to you again. Just like that. Have a few more to clean up, and then I'm going to take care of this unstoppable. The unstoppable is down, and now we can move on to the boss room. Here you may want to consider blowing up these servitors, just so they don't end up blowing up and killing you instead. You're going to have a bunch of these ravagers push up like this. You can always just kill them as they come up. And the overload is down, so we're going to have another wave of enemies. Make sure everything's reloaded. I'm going to toss a grenade right up front here. And as soon as that enemy goes down, you're going to have a third wave, which includes the boss. I'm going to go ahead and super the boss and go right for the chest. And just like that, that was a platinum completion of the Bay of Drowned Wishes on a Titan. And all I have left to show you now is a run on a Hunter as well. And last but not least, we have my Hunter run. I'm going to go ahead and take out all those groups of enemies, and then this unstoppable champion like usual. So the tarantula does make the unstoppable champions just a little bit easier to manage. As you can see, after a stun, you can two-shot them with a tarantula due to the arc burn. Again, I want to be ready for this raider. I'm going to throw a grenade on over there. As you can see, there's more screebs spawning up by the barrier. I'm going to be ready for those. And then I want to be ready for the ones that spawn behind me. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and jump over them here again. And now I can deal with the unstoppable. Again, like my Titan run, I'm going to go ahead and shoot these dead servitors here, so I don't die to them later on. Got the Ravagers here, and we do have a few more servitors there that I want to be careful for. And I'm going to go ahead and super here because my super should last long enough to be able to take the boss out here in just a moment. And the boss should spawn right now. And unfortunately, the screebs took me out there. If that happens to you, it's not a big deal. It should only add a few seconds to your runtime. Again, this is another lost sector that's good to farm Essence of Dawning if you're looking to do that, which I recommend doing so if you're low on certain materials because you're going to get a decent amount of enhancement cores from turning in those cookies. Anyway, that's all I have for today's video. If you ended up enjoying it, make sure to like and subscribe. I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.